ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ringside Chronicles here. I want to welcome you to a very special triple threat interview here. To my right, your left, Madness. To my left, your right, former Madness, the Mad One. Now, Mad One, last time we had you on, you brought up the issue of the rivalry between you two. You said it was, you said it essentially was the issue that kind of, the issue that, the rivalry, that the feud that put you on the map, so to speak. And you know, I just know there's a whole lot more left to say. There's a lot of untold stories. There's a
whole lot more fights to be told.
And we have the Madness here. And I want to thank you very much for coming down. And I want to start with you. You know, this whole issue was over the name, Madness. Let's start with you. How long had you been using?
Oh wow,
Madness.
Well, we'll go back. We'll go way back.
Let's go as far back as you want.
We'll go back to 1998 when I used to wrestle in the backyard. Before I decided and said I'm going to start training and start becoming a professional wrestler. I used the name amongst friends that we had our own little group, and honestly, out of all the guys that came through where we started, I'm the only one that really kept their name. I kept Madness all the way through. So from 98 all the way on. And whenever, and you'll see any of the videos, whenever I do my promos, I always mention the years. I never mention the years I've used Madness. I mention the years I wrestled professionally. I take that more seriously than what I did prior. But I've used it since 1998.
Oh, that's incredible. How did you come up with, essentially?
It was actually, there's a funny story behind that. Back when I was in high school, me and my friends, we were known as the NWO. Everybody took a name taken from a wrestler. One was Hollywood Hogan. One was, unfortunately, Vincent, which was me at the time. I was Vincent.
You drew the short straw on that one.
Yeah, but when Savage became part of the NWO, I said I wanted to be Randy Savage. When we kept on getting together during lunch and we were talking about wanting to do a little wrestling show for ourselves, I said I was going to call myself Madness, as ode to Randy Savage, and I kept it ever since.
And when did your professional career begin?
It started in 2008, and it was really because of Sensational Sound. I had ran into some problems and left wrestling for a little while. When I came back, Sal was the only one that had the door open for me and allowed me to get an opportunity with Pro Wrestling International, PWI. He got me the tryout. They didn't like me the first time. The second time, everything rolled around. The champion at the time, Mojo, saw something in me and kept me around. And from there, I was able to win my first indie championship, and that was the PWI United States title.
I just met Mojo. We just did a show in King.
All right.
Nice day. Continue.
Really good. Yes, nice guy.
Mad One, let's go to you. When and how did you start using the name Madness? How did that come about?
It was a personal nickname. I didn't do the backyard wrestling. Most of the guys did it. I didn't get to do it. I don't really know why. Laredo never really had it. It was a personal nickname that I used. Part being, same way, Macho Man. Some people don't want to give him as much credit as that he deserves, but he was very influential when I started watching wrestling. So the Madness, I've even used his logo on my on my second T-shirt. I used his logo on there. That's when I started using it. There's also another reason how I came up to using that name as a personal nickname. To the geeks out there, Gym Class Heroes, friend request. In the very end, he ends the song by saying, "This is Madness," as his name, and I picked it up from there, and it became a nickname. And from there, when Ace convinced me to start wrestling. Again, it was all supposed to be a one-show deal, and I was like, oh, well, I'll just use the nickname. Never gonna do it again, and he lied to me, and 4 years later, we're sitting here with you. So
That's great. So now the whole conflict with the name was obviously not intentional.
oh, absolutely not.
That was just-
I was young and stupid and did not do my research. I'll admit it. Again, I didn't expect to be doing this as much as we are doing it. So I didn't do the research. I didn't properly go through the channels of it. Was it a year after we started that you made contact with us?
How did you find out about what was going on with madness in?
I remember
Laredo
he
Madness.
tagged me on a post because you were doing your podcast.
Mhm.
And you mentioned something that's a nice name, kid, or something like that. And I
This
didn't.
is through Facebook.
This was through
Yeah.
Facebook, and I didn't put one and one together till I started paying attention to what he was doing.
Well, and it's funny because usually in wrestling, obviously you are going to have people that are going to share the same name in independent wrestling. Of course, as you get higher and you start making names for yourself, unique names stick out and you are not able to use those names. On your shirt, ACH. Of course, there's not going to be anybody else named ACH. There's not going to be anyone else named Chase Stevens. There's not going to be another Ken Carson. There's not going to be another Mad Dog Ken Johnson, even though there is probably a wrestler named Ken Johnson, but he's not going to use Mad Dog. As you start getting successful, each of these names start becoming its own individual entity. Now, it is possible, like I said before, if you have Mad Dog Ken Johnson in San Antonio and all over Texas, there probably is a Ken Johnson over in Maine or probably in Minnesota. But they never conflict with each other. They never do.
No conflict there.
Exactly.
They'll probably never meet.
My stupidity was he was 2 hours away from me.
Yes.
So, let's
2
just-
whole hours.
Straight
Wow.
honest, if you drive the speed
Yeah.
limit, it's 2 hours away.
You know, if this was like the 1800s where you needed a coach and wagon to get to San Antonio in 2 weeks,
Oh,
then
Lord.
maybe.
Maybe.
I don't think I make that show then. No, but but I would always hear these jokes like, hey, you know, there's a madness in Laredo. And I didn't think nothing of it until I finally just kept on hearing it over and over and over again.
And I'm guessing this was through other wrestlers or associates?
Chino Reyes, Ruben Steele.
Good comments or bad comments? Because I know the first couple ones.
No, they were just
shitty
telling me that
comments.
there's madness, that, hey, there's a guy named Madness in Laredo. And I said, you know what, let me look him up. So I started typing in Laredo Wrestling Alliance. And one of the wrestlers that popped up, Burham was being one of them, Ace, and then he eventually popped up. And then I found his Facebook page, which was him staring down, oh my God,
Lightning.
some big dude in a mask.
On Chaos.
It was an old
Very
picture,
old.
and I was like, ooh, yeah, this is bad. So, in wrestling, normally, if you have somebody that is within the same state as you using that name, the vet has the right to say, kid, you need to stop using my name, you need to pick something else, and that's it.
It's a matter of respect.
Yes, it's out of respect.
It goes back to the way you're brought up into this business.
Absolutely.
Just the respect factor in it. And like I said in the last interview, and I'll say it again, he could have been, you're going to bleep this, but an asshole. And they're like, hey, change the name or else. And the way he approached me, 100% professional. I was new to the game. And again, I can't thank him enough for offering me what he offered me and not taking the asshole route.
Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break right now, and we'll be right back with some more from the Madnesses.
Madness-I?
Madnesses?
Madness-I?
The Madness versus Madness matchup on October 27th is going to be one of the biggest matches in LWA history. You've got the LWA Madness, who the fans love. Then we've got Original Madness coming down, trying to come and take Laredo over. It's going to be a high-flying matchup. I'm really excited to watch this on October 27th. I don't know who's going to win, but I'll tell you what, they both hate each other, and this match is going to be epic. I cannot wait for it.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ringside Chronicles. Okay, so you heard about Mad One, or Madness, I should say, Laredo Madness. You contacted him through Facebook. What did you say to him? How did that come about? What made you finally decide?
It actually came out of respect. I've been around good people enough not to be an asshole, and I was complimenting him, just getting his attention. I was just getting his attention. Eventually, what wound up happening was I eventually talked to the promoter of LWA, and I told him who I was. I told him the concept, and I still think to this very day, I still don't think that he liked it, because of the simple fact that he is their top guy. No matter any way you put it, whether the Raw general manager agrees with it or not, you just turn off the screen. Okay, we're back on. Okay, we're back.
What have you been watching, bro?
Don't
That
worry
Raw.
about it. Okay.
Anyways, continue.
Next.
Okay. And I still don't feel that he never really trusted it, even though that he knew what needed to be done out of respect. And Cobra was the one that originally told me who they were and how to find them. And Cobra took me down there, and it was for Seasons Beatings, 2013.
Yeah, 2 years ago when we headed downtown.
2012 then. Wait, what's
Yeah.
the back of the shirt say?
Yeah, wait, hold up.
Just look at
It's on the back of the shirt.
October 27, 2012.
So
Okay, 2012. Okay. And I just want to remind everybody, as you can tell, I at least dress for the occasion.
Look, for the benefit of the doubt, my Legacy Madness shirt doesn't fit me because I was chunkier back then. Madness is still chunky, so it still fits him. Mine doesn't fit no more. I'm sorry. I was gonna bring my original shirt, but I couldn't find it, so I apologize. Jesus.
Wait, if you couldn't find it, how do you know it doesn't fit?
No. This one doesn't fit.
Oh,
I have
this
my
one.
logo shirt
okay.
that I can't find.
All right.
Anyways,
the
moving
gym.
on. Oh wait,
Moving on.
it's your show. I'm sorry. I'm used to hosting my podcast.
It's our show.
It's everybody's
It's the Madnessy or Madness Eye or
Madnesses.
We're taking over the damn show. This is Ringside Chronicles.
It's a
by
mad,
Madness and the
it's a
Mad
mad world.
If you can play that as a theme,
Good use.
the Gears of War theme, Mad World, if you can play that one, that'd be awesome. Continue.
I forgot where I was.
Where were we? Cobra?
Oh yeah,
Cobra.
Cobra. So Cobra took me down for the first show ever, and the promoter Ace. Is that what
Yes.
Okay,
The
Ace.
Silver Bullet.
Ace. Yes, the Silver Bullet. Even though it's sponsored by Budweiser. Anyways,
Yeah.
I had to throw that in there. Anyways, so I went down there. My first match, I think it was the Beast Bane, somebody else, and it was a triple threat match. I lost. And the funniest little side story here about that one was that when I got paid all in ones. And I'm just going to tell you this. When you're driving back home and you have an envelope full of ones in your pocket, you are praying that the people at the Border Patrol don't stop you. And as they're looking through your stuff, they find the envelope because it just sends the wrong message.
Was it the correct amount?
It was the correct amount. I counted it.
What's wrong with the male stripper and ones? You gotta respect adult things. There's nothing wrong with that. That is an honest way of living.
You don't know me. Don't judge me.
Don't judge it. Exactly.
But we set the wheel in motion for what was to come.
Well, you did a promo on it, right?
Before that matchup, I cut a promo in which I started talking about you. Now, the one thing that I did was that when I did these promos, I never called him Madness. I always called him by his real name because I wanted to send that tone out there that he was an imposter and that he was not who he says he is.
You were doing this on YouTube, or where were you cutting these promos
On shows.
It was at shows. They were all at shows.
Okay.
Every single one of them was at shows. And the first one, I was hoping to finally meet him. I didn't meet him until after the show.
Yeah.
But when I cut the promo, he wasn't there. He had to work. So I kind of used that as momentum. And I remember it being like, I remember saying like, for those of y'all that don't know who I am, my name is Madness. And I want all of y'all to know that you have been fooled, you people of Laredo, Texas, because this kid that you have wrestling here is a fraud. I was winning championships before he was learning how to do a roll. And these were the things, and I was like, where's he at? Where's he at? Is he under the ring? Hello, Georgie. Georgie, are you there? Hello, where are you at? And these were just little things, and it would irritate the people. They worshipped you. They still do. I don't know why.
So
They're like the John Cena.
So you make sure that even though you had the rights,
Right.
with the name,
You had to establish
you
that.
still had to maintain that you're the heel in this, no matter what.
Yes.
Basic storytelling.
How did you respond to these, or what
Here's the thing.
came after this?
Ray didn't tell me about the setup to the match till later, but he didn't know that I had already spoken to him. So Ray tried to scare me a little bit, but I understood it. I understood where he was coming from. When he brought up the idea of facing each other for the name, it was no questions asked. I knew what I had to do, and I didn't have a problem with it. It was great storytelling, man. Like, again, I grew up watching Lucha Libre. What is it? Everybody was into the hair versus hair matches, the hair versus mask match, like stipulation match. Somebody had to lose something, or you want to do it. The loser leave town matches, the sports tournament, all that. Those type of matches were the goosebumps in the arm that it really means something type of stuff. And at that time, you're witness, man. A lot of our stuff was gimmicky, cartoony.
It looked like WWF back from the 80s.
Like we were all character.
You had a panda. You had a panda, and I had and me being in my foolishness. You had a panda, and then you had.
I don't mind the panda.
And then you had an
mind the
Exotica.
man.
You had an Exotica character too.
That's the one I have a problem with.
You had an Exotica character, and I had to ask the guy. I said, "Are you gay by chance?" And he goes, "No." I was like, Wow. You could have fooled me on that one. Holy crap.
Yeah, we had a lot of those type of characters, and again, at that time, I was getting annoyed of what we were producing, so to speak. So when he brought up the idea, the realism, again, I don't mean to use WWE names or anything like that, but the reality or the realness, as in this is personal. Again, he's calling me out by my real name. Mm-hmm. We're supposed to keep it kayfabe. Hey, you don't do that. And I dug it. I was interested. I was intrigued. I was sunk in, and I knew the behind the scenes, and I was already sunk in. But here's the shit. My mom hated you for months. And she can tell you that when I lost that name, she hated you and she cried because it was my name, this and the other. Having to break it to her that I was gonna lose a name was hard enough as itself. They're queuing us out, so we're gonna have to take a break. We're gonna have another one along with these. But I didn't have a problem with what we were doing. I understood it. I knew what I had to do. I knew the job at hand, and I think we did it very, very well.
Well, I will say this much. You know, you've had name versus names matches before. They do exist. Kevin Dagger has done one with BZ Banks when it was name versus name, but it had never been name versus name where both wrestlers had the same name. And I saw the opportunity in this, and it opened the door for LWA to step out, to really step out and become, to be taken seriously.
That's good. All right, well, as Madeline said, we're being queued out, so we're going to go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back with some more after this.
You hear the Grammy song playing?
Fine people of Laredo, Texas. I
I want you to know one thing. Do not expect this match to be technically sound due to the limitations of my opponent. Now, it's been a while since I've been here, so let me reiterate to you, or repeat myself to those of y'all who don't understand. Oh, hi, Grandma. Haven't seen you in a while. For the last 7 years of my career, I am Madness. I've been winning titles before that punk was learning how to do a roll. You know, it's a copyrighted trademark, right? So for this past year, this kid has been using my name, using my moves, and yet he couldn't even come and ask for permission or come talk to me, which I find disrespectful, because in this business it's all about respect, and until this kid learns, I'm going to have to beat respect out of him. So introduce this imposter, Mr. Benowitz.
All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. You mentioned sort of, you know, the reality of it, the realism of it. It was bringing the LWA to another level. I think a lot of the reason that it worked was because it essentially was based on something real.
Yes.
You know, there was a reason for this feud to happen. You know, kayfabe shoot, whatever. There was a reason for you guys to sort of go to war. Now, you had mentioned that you guys had already talked. What were those conversations like? You know, what went on there?
Very respectful. Again, I can't thank him and Kevin enough for bringing me under their wing. I think for like 4 months, I went up there almost every week.
Well, I'll tell that. When calm down, you. No,
Don't make me reach over this table and slap you, son. Don't start.
Oh,
All right. Tell
Let's,
this story. Tell this story.
No, but
get rid of that.
damn it. No, but one thing that I had gotten tired of being complacent with Tito.
Armenian.
Very
Very helpful.
I got tired of being complacent on the card where I was at the Texas Wrestling Association. I was getting a little frustrated. I called up CJ Xavier. He is the head booker of TWA, and I asked him. I go, I'm tired of sucking. I want to get better. Can you help me get better? And he goes, I can help you, but I want to refer you to somebody. And it had been brought up several times about people wanting to train with me. I believe at one point somebody wanted to retrain me, start from scratch and work from the bottom up. And CJ didn't like that. He wanted somebody that could polish up my skills and make me look a little bit better in the ring. And he referred me to Kevin Knight. Kevin Knight, just to touch on him a little bit, he trained under the wing of Virus. And him and Virus trained guys like Gabe the Babe, Mr. Wright, and of course ACH.
So they know what the hell they're doing.
Yes, especially for somebody that got their ass kicked for almost a whole year, for him to walk away from the company or from the business altogether and come back and say, you know what, I'm ready to learn. For me, Kevin didn't have to go that far because I had that attitude where I wanted to learn. And I kept on talking to Kevin about this matchup as it was in the planning stages, and not many people know this. Actually, nobody knows this except for a few. He would actually drive down once a month and it was a little bit more than 4 months.
It was a little bit more. It was about twice a month for 4 to 5 months, yeah.
And he would come down. He'd train for 2 hours and drive back home. He has a little, he had family with him that he would bring down just to keep him awake on the ride back. But for somebody to show that,
to San Antonio.
yeah, to San Antonio,
From Laredo to San Antonio.
and for someone to show that much, dedication, you don't find that too often. You really don't. And I liked our conversations, and I immediately liked him because he didn't come off as a jerk. He didn't come off as, who are you to even be telling me this? That I'm owed everything because of where I'm at over here and who it was just, no, he's been level-headed since day one.
The current green kids mindset is everybody owes them something, and the way I thought of it was, the Rio de San Antonio is a bigger market. I'm a tadpole in shark waters over there. Again, he didn't have to help me when he offered it. I think you first mentioned like, oh, if you want to come up and train, and my natural instinct was, yeah, man, like why not? Again, after we introduced, I did my research after, and when he mentioned Kevin Knight and all those, and of course, man, if I can soak up anything, I would. Those first couple of training sessions were very painful because what's the right word for it?
He had a lot of bad habits.
Yeah, there you go. That had a lot of bad habits in the ring, and like I said in the last interview, they were beat out of me in a very good way. Again, I can't thank him and Kevin enough for taking the time out of their day to help me. The drive sometimes were boring and painful, especially when I drove alone. But totally worth the. I work a very weird shift at work, so the days off that I did get, I would drive over there, and it was totally worth it because at the end of the day, at the end of the 6 months that we did, that match was, again, too bad, Prince. Kiss my ass. We outshined you by leaps and bounds. We didn't use anything to choke anybody. That match was, again, not perfect because I don't think any match is perfect.
There was a chair used at the end of the match.
Oh, that's
To
true.
choke you.
To choke, yeah. But that was after the match. But I don't think any match will ever be perfect. You always get hiccups. But that match was just on point. The crowd was eating it up. Everything made sense. The ending was totally awesome. LWA management kind of dropped the ball after the match. But even leading up to, I think we did the autograph session.
We did a
Summer Bash or something like some that.
because what it opened up the door for us to spread it not only from Laredo, but we were able to bring it down to San Antonio, and we
Geographically, we go up to San Antonio, just
North.
look at where I'm at. Forget where I'm at, okay? I was in the car for 3 hours. Leave me alone.
how slow were y'all going? Damn.
We're taking our time.
Anyways, we were able to travel it up to San Antonio.
And it was great because you were able to transcend that story back and forth, and people were actually following it,
Yeah.
which amazed the hell out of me because people from San Antonio were actually paying attention to LWA, and then we were bringing them up there, and then we were giving them recognition up there. It eventually got to the point where other wrestlers started contacting them because they started paying attention to what we were doing. Because and whether anybody wants to correct me on what I'm about to say, by all means, but I believe truly in my heart that this storyline helped bring LWA into the light, and it started bringing people's attention to where they were like, hey, you know what? I think I want to go work down there. And it wasn't about money. It was about coming down there to work with young kids who want to listen, that want to learn. Except for a few exceptions that I will honestly say. You guys have a lot of talent that comes in, but nobody asks questions to the vets that come in.
And no, I think in Heavenville, we had that same.
Yeah, we had a conversation.
We had a conversation in regards to that, and those who we spoke to know what we're talking about, and that's just the current mindset of current people, quote unquote, breaking in, who did a lot of the backyard stuff and just want to come in and think that it's the same thing.
It really isn't.
It isn't, and he did the backyard stuff. I didn't get to do it, so I didn't get the transition. He knows the transition. He knows how different it is.
So
It is.
He would
of all
attest.
people would definitely know.
Yes.
You can tell someone that this is nothing like that.
No, it's not. It really isn't, and it's a hard process. It's a hard process because you develop a lot of bad habits, and that's why Kevin would catch it right away, or I started catching it too. Some of the habits because he had them, and then slowly.
What were some of these habits if you remember, if you recall?
We're getting the minion is queuing us off right now.
Okay, you know what? Let's cut off and we'll come back to that. We'll be right back.